Hey guys, Nate here. I've been getting a lot of questions on when best to do soft tissue mobilization or self-soft tissue, specifically like the massage gun. When to use it within the week, when to use it when they start, or even specifically like how to use it appropriately. So I wanted to touch base a little bit here and give you guys some input. First off, I think doing any type of soft tissue mobilization to yourself, using a massage gun, using a foam roller, using a lacrosse ball, anything like that is great. It helps restore some of that blood flow to the muscles that are being used while you throw, and some of the stuff that gets beaten down a little bit as we train. So if I would prescribe it to somebody as when to use it, the best timing of it would be typically the days that you're not going to throw very hard. So for like a pitcher, if you're going to start, I wouldn't use the massage gun prior to your start or before you start, before the game, or even before a bullpen. Because if we think about what we're trying to do with any type of soft tissue mobilizations, we're trying to kind of decrease the activity of that muscle, trying to decrease that tone. So if think of it as like if we're decreasing the tone, we're kind of shutting that muscle off. So if we're shutting that muscle off before we throw, then we might not be able to perform at our best. So before the game might not be the best time to do it. After the game may be a good time to use it, because now we just tore down that muscle a little bit, and it's probably a good time to help kind of flush that inflammation out, kind of help that tissue kind of heal. And the best times to use it would actually be the day after and a few days prior to when you start. Okay? So those high intent days, you probably don't want to do it prior to those high intent days, but then the days leading up to those high days, that's the best time to do it. So when I think about soft tissue mobilization, what's the best way to do it? The best way to do it is apply a little bit of pressure to the area that you need to. So like take your pec for an example. So if you have a lacrosse ball or anything like that, or even just your fingers, you can kind of hold that muscle and then elongate. So get that muscle long. So if you think about what the pec does, it brings you this way. If I'm holding onto it and reaching around, or keep reaching backwards and then coming back, is the best way to stimulate the muscle the best. So what I would think about, the absolute best way to do soft tissue would be to contract the muscle fully and relax the muscle fully while there's a little bit of pressure on it. So what I'm trying to do is hold on to it. When I'm reaching away from it and making that muscle longer, I'm activating the backside of it, which actually shuts off that muscle a little bit more. So I'm applying a little pressure through it. And then when I come back forward, that's making the muscle shorter and then still adding a little pressure to it, so it helps shut it off. So if you think about like a massage gun, a lot of people use it for their quads. A good way to do it is if you're using the massage gun and kind of using it on your thigh, you're going to want to extend the leg and then bend the knee back as far as you can while you have that massage gun on your leg. That way you shorten the muscle when you extend your leg out, but then you also lengthen the muscle as you bend it back. Okay? So a couple areas that we can do this for, with a medicine ball. So if we're trying to get our lat here, so the main thing the lat does is it helps pull your shoulder back down when it's above this, when you're reaching above your head. So what we want to do is if we have a med ball, is we're going to just try to reach up and then reach back down. Try to find a trigger point. Well, a trigger point's a little bit like where that muscle's tight. It kind of is a little sore when you're pushing on it. And then you're just going to reach up and come back down for that lat. So you're just going to come back and forth. Try to reach up as far as you can, kind of get it off the ground a little bit, really make that muscle really long. But then you're also kind of bringing it back. What you can even do to make it a little bit better is, like I said, it likes a little resistance on it. So if you're up here, you can use your other hand and kind of pull down to provide a little resistance. That's going to contract that muscle even more. Okay? So you can do a couple of those. Each trigger point that you find, you're going to do about 10 reps of just lengthening it up and coming back down. Okay? So another good area for the shoulder is, it's called the infraspinatus. So it's the muscle on the shoulder blade itself. You can find a lacrosse ball or baseball or anything like that, put it on the ground or put it on the wall, and then you're just going to kind of put that ball on the side. And again, so the ball should be on your shoulder blade and pushing on it. So, and then going through the range of motion, so really kind of rotate that shoulder forward and back. This is really getting that muscle long and short between the range of motion and getting some contractile unit. What that does, the reason why you want to go through the full range of motion is really giving the mind, the brain, a lot of input to that muscle. When you push a little bit more, it's trying to lengthen that muscle out as long as it can, but then it also, when it shortens, it's still applying a little pressure so it can kind of relax after it contracts. So, to recap a little bit, the best time to do soft tissue mobilization, so working on yourself either with a massage gun or with a lacrosse ball or a medicine ball or a foam roller or anything like that, would actually be on the non-throwing days. You can do it after you throw, so the non-high intent throwing days. You can do it after you get off the mound. That'll help out a little bit, but the absolute best time would do it would be the days in between your starts. So if you start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday you start again, so Tuesday and Wednesday would be the absolute best time to do it. And then while you're doing the soft tissue, really work through the whole range of motion through that muscle. That way you'll get the best input to try to get that muscle long, and as it shortens down, it provides a little bit more input to really try to get that muscle to turn off a little bit more, because there's a little bit of almost like a painful stimulus. So the mind is kind of telling that muscle, be like, hey, relax a little bit, so we can work through that full range of motion. Okay? Try some of this out. Like I said, in between your starts, not necessarily the day of the high intent throwing, but the days in between the high intensity days. Okay? Give that a try, guys. Let me know. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.